Good morning to everyone. I'm Vignateja from Data Science C section. Today, my topic is the stages of listening process. Introduction. Listening is a skill of critical significance in all aspects of our lives, from maintaining our personal relationships ships to getting our jobs done, to taking notes in class, to figuring out which bus to take to the airport. To be a successful listener, it's important to understand the listeners, involving more than just hearing the words that are directly at us. Listening is an active process by which we make senses and respond to what we hear. The listening process involves five stages: receiving, understanding, evaluating, remembering, and responding. An effective listener must hear and identify the speeches the speech sounds directed towards them, understand the message of those sounds, critically evaluate that message, remember what's been said, and respond to information they have received. Stages of listening: first, listening; second, understanding; third, remembering; fourth, evaluate; fifth, responding. Listening. The first stage of the first stage of listening process is the receiving stage, which involves hearing hearing and attending. Hearing is the psychological process of registering sound waves as they hit the eardrum. As as obvious as it may seem, in order to effectively gather information through listening, we must first to be able to physically hear what we are listening to. If we have a hearing impairment, our ability to listen will be challenged. Noise in the environment can create obstacles to receiving audible sound waves. Paired with hearing, attending in the other half of the receiving stages in the listening processes. Attending in the process of accurately identifying and interpreting part, partic- particular sounds we hear as words. The sounds we hear have no meaning until we give them their meaning in context. Listening is an activity process that constructs meaning from both verbal and non-verbal messages. Attending also involves being able to human speech, also known as a speech signification. Identify auditory as a speech but not being able to breathe those speech sounds down into sentences or words would be failure of the listening processes. Understanding. The understanding stage is the stage during which the listener determines the context and meaning of the word that are heard through a process called decoding. Understanding or comprehension occurs when the listener's determination of the context and meaning of the words matches the speaker's message. One, one tactic for better understanding a speaker's meaning is to ask questions to fill in any holes you may have in a mental reconstruction of the speaker's message. Remembering. Remembering. In the listening process, the remembering stage occurs as the listener categorizes and retains the information he or she has gathered from the speaker for future access. If the listener has been attending and understanding and evaluating, chances are the result will be stored memory, allowing the listener to record information about people, objects, and events for later recall. This happens both during and after the speaker's delivery. Evaluating. This stage of the listening process is the one during which the listener accesses the information they received both qualitatively and quantitatively. Evaluating allows the listeners to form an opinion of what they heard and, if necessary, to begin developing a response. The evaluating stage occurs more effectively once the listener fully understands what the speaker is trying to say. Having a clear understanding of a speaker's message allows a listener to evaluate the message without getting bogged down in or spending unnecessary time and energy addressing points that may be tangential or otherwise non-essentials. Responding. The responding stage is a stage of the listening process in which the listener provides verbal or non-verbal reactions based on short or long-term memory. Non-verbal responses such as nodding or eye contact allows the listener to communicate his or her level of interest without interpreting the speaker, thereby preserving the speaker listener roles. When a listener responds when a listener responds verbally to what they hear and remember, for example, with a question or a comment, the speaker or listener roles are reversed, at least momentarily. 5 steps of listening. Step 1, receiving means hearing. Step 2, understanding means learning. Step 3, remembering means recalling. Step 4, evaluating means judging. Step 5, responding means answering. Barriers of listening. Low concentration. Low concentration or not paying close attention to speakers is determinantal to effective listening. Listening. It can result from various psychological or physical physical situations such as visual or auditory distractions. Physical discomfort is volume, lack of interest in the subject material, stress, or personal bias, regard, regardless of the cause. When a listener is not paying attention to a speaker's dialogue, effective communication is significantly diminished. Lack of prioritization. Just a lot Just a lack of attention to detail in a conversation can lead to ineffective listening. So, can focus can focusing too much attention on the least important information. Listeners need to be able to pick up on social clues and prioritize the information they hear to identify the most important points within the context of the conversation. Poor judgment. When listen when listening to to a speaker's message, it is common to sometimes overlook aspects of the conversation or make judgments before all the information is presented. Focusing on style, not substance, in the case of listening, distracting or or, or larger than life elements in a speech or presentation can deflect attention away from from the most important information in the conversation or presentation. These distractions can also influence the listener's option. Thank you.